All right, man. I'm excited.
Me too, dude.
I'm pumped for this one. I think what makes it even better now is tomorrow's the Marine Corps birthday.
Absolutely.
Just had a beer right now, so that was cool. I don't think I've had one of those in a long time.
The first thing I saw when I stopped for gas.
Fuck it, dude. Hell yeah. Traditional, right? Yeah. Marines drinking fucking whatever you can find, right? No, I'm excited, man. I think this podcast for me is unique compared to all the others. Not because any of my guests like anything different with them than you, but the way this came about.
Yeah.
Like, I have a neighbor in my neighborhood who, really cool guy. Randy's a great guy. And he would always tell me about his friend who was a police officer as well, and tell me how he was a brick house and he's a Marine guy and he's badass. And he goes, one thing I regret is not hearing all his stories that he used to want to tell me before he passed away. And, you know, just kind of hearing that, I'm like, man, this guy sounds like a damn honorary, like badass dude, you know, like sounds like a good guy. Done a lot in his life. Then I go to San Antonio to do another podcast with Slick. And he's telling me a story about one of his fellow police officers that he worked with. And I won't go into detail of that story because that was an off the camera story, but he's telling me the story. And then obviously in the podcast, he talked about him as well. And the neighbor that I had, when he knew I was going to go interview Slick, since he knew that he worked with Pasadena PD, he said, hey, ask him if he knows this guy. And send me a picture of your dad. So I showed him, and he's like, that's the guy I showed him we were having a break. And he's like, that's the guy we were talking about when we are on the podcast. And I was like, oh shit, like really? So then when, you know, I know Randy sent the podcast to your brother and stuff like that. Yeah. And I don't know if she sent it to you guys and everything.
To me, my brother.
Yeah, and then when I started talking to you, I was like, what the fuck? This is crazy how this gone in a circle from smoking cigars with the good old guy down the block from my house to all of a sudden doing a podcast, and somehow, some way it all mixed in there. And then I started talking to you and looking into your career, man, and it's damn impressive, man. You've done a lot, and I think, one, I want to hear a lot about yourself, your dad as well, because your dad seems like a damn awesome dude that had a really good career and done a lot of good things in his life. And I think just looking at your resume, I can definitely see where you're trying to live up to the legacy and also keep doing it and make your dad proud. And, you know, you're part two. So here we go, man. So Alec Candelari, right?
Yeah.
That's how you say the last name, Candelari.
Yeah.
I'm used to hearing Candy, so that's why.
Still, it's what everybody calls me. It kind of transferred down from dad. Like, everybody called him Candy. My brother got in the military, got in law enforcement. He was Candy, and now it's...
Your brother's a Marine as well, too, right?
Correct.
Damn, so you guys, all three of you are Marines.
Yeah, I don't know how my mom does.
Poor your mom, dude. Yeah, she's a bunch of belligerent bastards, right? and then the redhead, right? So it's like, God, it's even worse, man. Yeah. You guys are trouble. But before we get started, man, I have some stuff for you. I have a podcast t-shirt, and then I have some stuff from one of our sponsors, Static Line. I don't know if you've checked out his stuff yet.
I've seen some of his stuff.
Yeah, so he's still in. He's an airborne guy. He's kind of sad right now because they're cutting airborne stuff on them. But yeah, so he's got a hat and some stickers right here, and I know you jumped as well.
Yeah, still.
And you had over 30-some free fall jumps, right? Yeah, so I did see that as well. So pretty cool, man. Here's some stuff from him.
Thanks, dude.
Yeah, man. Then obviously, you know, help yourself to the Echelon and the Zemo pouches. Absolutely. Two of our other sponsors. The shirt that I gave you is one that I did a collaboration with Team Room Tactical, who's another sponsor of mine. He was also one of the guests on the podcast as well. So it's that shirt. This episode is brought to you by Static Line Company, founded and operated by a current U.S. Army airborne paratrooper who knows exactly what it means to earn your gear. Static Line Company brings you mission-ready apparel, patches, and everyday essentials built to perform, whether you're on the grind, in the gym, or out in the field. I rock the gear myself. My personal favorite is the team hat, and trust me, it's become part of my daily rotation. Check them out on staticlineco.com, and don't forget to use code CYS10 at checkout for 10% off your order. Static Line Company, built for the mission, worn with purpose. Check them out, guys. This episode of Calling Your Shot podcast is brought to you by Wolf 21, where wellness is preparation. Wolf 21's all-natural formulas are built to help you perform at your best. Without relying on big pharma meds or dealing with harsh side effects, Whether it's improving your sleep, boosting recovery, or sharpening focus, Wolf 21 helps you build true resilience from the inside out. Personally, I've been taking their sleep gummies, and honestly, it's been a game changer. I've always had a hard time falling asleep and found myself fighting rest even when I was exhausted. But these have made a noticeable difference in how quickly I fall asleep and how well I stay asleep throughout the night. As founder Mike Glover says, you can't perform at your peak if you're bogged down by chemicals and brain fog. Wolf 21's about taking control of your wellness so you can be ready for anything. Check them out at thewolf21.com and use code CYSP at checkout for 15% off your order. Take care of yourself first, because wellness is preparation. It's that shirt. Yeah, man, I'm excited. So let's start with young Alec, man. Like, how did it all start for you?
Dude, like as early as I can remember, I was pretty much just getting in trouble.
Yeah.
One of the favorite stories my mom told me about me growing up is there was a line in the driveway that my dad told me not to go past because it was too close to the street. I think it was maybe like 2 or 3, and I ran up and looked him dead in the eye and just put my toes across it. And then naturally, like, he's going to start spanking me, but I've always kind of pushed my boundaries, pushed my limits, tried to see what I could get away with.
Yeah. Always set to be a Marine since you were a kid.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so.
It's funny.
Played football, Little League football through high school football. Did anything my dad would let me do. He's a dare officer for a while, so I followed him to dare camp during the summers. I got older, got into more sports. Not really high school sports, but like grappling and MMA and stuff like that started piquing my interest. Kind of just everything I did really prepared me to go to the military. I knew since I was 5 years old, I wanted to join the military. I thought, like I grew up watching Black Hawk Down. As soon as that thing came out on VHS or DVD, I was watching it almost daily until I found out that the Marines didn't have Rangers. I told everybody I was going to be a Ranger. I realized that wasn't the case. So I was like, okay, I'm going to go to the Marine Corps and figure out what to do from there.
Yeah. And do you think that's like, was your father pretty open with you guys when you were little?
Oh, he's extremely open with it. And you know, first person shooters were starting to be a big thing. Like I used to watch my brother play Metal Gear Solid and SOCOM on PlayStation 2 and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Me and him both always had an interest in it just from hearing dad's stories and seeing his pictures, you know, paintball, airsoft, hunting, anything we could do to kind of get into that realm we would try and do.
Yeah. I saw an interesting photo of your pops where he was wearing like almost like a leopard print kind of shirt or something like that. Yeah. And I was like, man, this guy looked like a rock star, man. He looked like he was all business, man.
That was when he was in NARS.
Yeah. That looks like a traditional NARC photo right there. That's funny. So that's neat, man. And what was home life with your dad? You know, and this is about you today too, right? We're talking about you here, but I want to kind of hear a little bit about your dad's story as well, because I feel like I'm now interested a lot, because hearing it from two different perspectives and then just seeing it, how it meshed together from literally two different cities here in Texas of two different people that don't even know each other truly, told me a lot of stuff about your pops. And just to see what you're doing with your life has shown that there's been some pretty interesting, like, you know, evolution there.
Yeah.
I don't know who just screamed out. It's crazy.
It was good. Yeah, Dad, he ran a tight ship, but he was firm but fair. You know, we grew up in a household where if you got in trouble, you were getting swats. And he had a paddle, and he wrapped in that white coach's tape. Pretty sure he made it out of wood himself, and he wrote on Sharpie on there everything that we could do wrong to get swats. And before we would get them, like I still remember like coming home from school and getting in trouble and my key hitting the lock and then hearing the paddle hit the table. So he was just sitting there waiting on me. Yeah. And I would have to point to what I did wrong, and he would ask me why I did it. And if I didn't give him a straight answer, it was 5 more. And the most I ever racked up was 25. Damn. And before I finally gave him a straight answer, he was big on accountability, big on showing love too. Like there was never a doubt in my mind or my brother's mind that Dad loved us. before he dropped us off for school or to go hang out with friends or anything, like we'd have to give him a kiss goodbye. And if we didn't, he would get out and like bear hug us and make us give him a kiss goodbye.
Yeah.
And him and my mom were high school sweethearts. So a lot of what I try to do now in my marriage is emulate the example they set for me. And I kind of joke with my mom now, like she taught me and my brother how to be like followers of Christ and God, and Dad just taught us how to be men, and it just kind of meshed perfectly for us.
Yeah. That's unique, man, because in a lot of situations with people like, you know, your background and stuff, what you've done now in the military, and we'll get to that. There's one common thing that a lot of guys typically have, and we're both in the military, so we understand it. So a lot of people come from broken homes.
Yeah.
Never really had the father figure, the accountability, like what you just said right now with your dad doing that with the paddle and stuff. Like that's like no other better way to say like you need to own up to your shit of what you did. You know, you take your consequences and also own up to it. And it's a term, take your ass whooping like a man.
Legs,
you know, yeah. And you know, that's impressive, man. Not a lot of people can say that. So I think it's really cool that you've had that growing up, and I think that's going to be great for, you know, your family and your marriage. So growing up, you always grew up here in the Houston area, right?
Correct.
Yeah. Okay. Growing up, you thought Army Ranger, and then you realize, oh shit, they don't have those in the Marine Corps. So you knew you were going to be a Marine. Why? Because your dad, or?
Yeah, I think that had a big part to do with it. You know, he's the typical jarhead mentality. Like anytime somebody's talking about the military, it's like, well, the Marines are the best.
Yeah, of course.
And
it's true.
It just kind of rubbed off on me, because in high school he told me I should go be a SEAL because I was pretty good at swimming.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm not going to give you the chance, or my brother the chance, to call me a squid. Like, I'm not joining the Navy.
Yeah.
I'm going to go be a Marine.
That's funny. Did he do recon as well?
He was recon trained. He was in Panama, and he did dive school down there.
Okay.
We both went through Benning for airborne.
Yeah.
Some of the people I've crossed path with, knew his leadership and people that he worked with when he was in as well.
That's cool, man. That's really awesome. So you go through high school, you start getting an MMA or, you know, grappling and stuff like that. You start to realize, you know, Marine Corps is your thing. And what finally got you to go to the Marine Corps?
The fact that I was old enough, I didn't need a waiver from my parents anymore. I would have left when I was 16 if I could have.
Yeah.
My brother left high school early, went to the Marine Corps, and it killed me at the time. Dad was contracting, brother was in the Marine Corps. You know, they're both over there fighting, and here I am, like 13, stuck at home.
Yeah.
Can't do anything.
Yeah.
So the second I could join, I went and joined. They did the whole thing where they lay out all the leadership traits, like what means the most to you. And I was like, I don't care about any of this, dude. I want to join the Marine Corps.
Yeah.
I want to be in the infantry. If you can't sign that right now, like, I'm leaving.
Yeah. So, because I think your dad was a Triple C also, right? Or who was he with?
Aegis.
Okay. Yeah. Because I know he was out there as well. Damn, it's crazy, man. So I think me and you come from like the exact same generation, where we got to see 9/11 happen, and we knew what it meant, and we were small, but I feel like old enough to realize that it meant something different for us. And as the years went by, I think we realized like it's gonna be us, you know. And I think interesting story is, you know, how you're saying like sitting home and watching them do their thing and stuff. I have a very close friend, two friends actually, their family, William and Aaron. And Willie joined the Marine Corps with me as well. And then Aaron joined the Air Force. But their dad, who passed away a couple years ago, actually wears his wristband. He was in the Army for many years. He ended up retiring from ICE as well. I think he had like a month left before he retired, before he passed away. And when him and his oldest son, Junior, they were both in the Army. One had gone to Iraq, and the other in Afghanistan. They kind of like alternated. I kind of grew up almost like as a military brat, because I was always at their house. Because nobody in my immediate family joined the military or anything. And I think that's kind of where I got a lot of that from. And not because I had a missing father in my life. No, not at all. He was always working and stuff. But growing up with, I still call him Mr. Ramirez. Mr. Ramirez taught a lot of that to me, and kind of, you know, I would show up to go hang out with my friends because they lived right behind me. So I'd show up to go hang out, and sometimes it would be hours before I'd go in there and hang out with them. I was out back helping him clean shit and stuff, and he would go get me a beer. I'm like, oh shit, you know? And I just kind of like, that's, I guess, where he kind of motivated me to, you know, grow into who I am now, and especially with the military and stuff. And it was, I remember at one point where, you know, I almost, not that I was jealous, but I hated to see that they were out there, and us who are teenagers now getting closer to almost pulling the trigger and actually going and joining the military. I'm like, man, they're getting it. They're getting after those bastards, what they did to us, you know, on 9/11. And I'm sitting here, you know, watching people at McGregor, because we were by Fort Bliss and McGregor, you know, pre-workups and stuff like that, always seeing helicopters and stuff. And you knew what they were doing, man. You knew they were getting ready to go to the big show. And I'm like, man, are we going to miss it? You know, what's going to happen?
The same thoughts.
Yeah, I remember we were hiking in the Franklin Mountains, me and 3 other guys, and we were all 4 of us were going to go to the Marine Corps. We were already in the DEP program and everything, and I remember my little flip phone goes off as I'm finishing the hike. I flip it out. Mom's like, guess what happened? I go, what? She's like, they just caught him. Caught who? Bin Laden. They just killed Bin Laden. And I was like, oh shit. And I remember like we like cheered like we won a baseball game or something, and it's just something that we grew up as kids. Like, think about it. The GWAT generation was unique for both you and I, because we were kids when it started, and then we fell into it, you know? So, pretty crazy, man. And I think for you, it's very interesting because you had your father and your older brother, you know? And again, I feel bad for your mom.
Yeah. We definitely gave her a lot of gray hairs. My dad, till the day that he died.
Yeah. So you finally joined the Marine Corps.
Yep.
You, what's it like here? Like, how does it go from here? Like,
join the Marine Corps, just get through boot camp. You know, we were talking about earlier, chow to chow, day to day. I tell people it was the funniest place I wasn't allowed to laugh, because the drill instructors inherently are just hilarious when they're laughing at people.
It's true.
As long as it's not you.
It's not you, it's hilarious.
Yeah.
But it's you, you're like, fuck.
Yeah. Get through ITB. I'm in ITB, and I'm, you know, right, what was it? The Seabreeze shuttle.
Yeah.
Getting in the Seabreeze shuttle, I'm talking to my brother on the phone. I was on a working party and missed the recon guys coming in asking for volunteers, and I was telling my brother about it. And he's like, you really need to figure out a way to go recon. Like, don't be a regular grunt. You're better than that. Like, figure it out.
Yeah.
And it was probably 3 days before we were graduating ITB. Sergeant Spoon, he was a lap mover from the air wing coming in to go recon. And I was like, I haven't seen those guys again. Like, I wish I could have talked to him. And he's like, are you serious? Because there's a guy here right now. And he takes me inside, introduces me to Gunny Pagdalea. Short little Hawaiian dude, just absolutely jacked.
Yeah.
And he looked at me and had this like maniacal laugh, and he laughs at me and smiles. He's like, can you hike? And I said, yes, Gunny. He's like, can you swim? I was like, yes, Gunny. He's like, all right, see you over there tomorrow. And back then it was called Marines Awaiting Recon Training March.
Yeah.
So I did the sea bag drag after we graduated, drug everything over to our barracks. My dad and my uncle flew in and surprised me for ITB graduation. So I got to see him for a few hours. And once I got to Mart, I got everything to my room, and they pulled everybody out into the little courtyard, and they asked who wanted to quit before we even did anything.
Yeah.
To walk over there, 28 people raised their hands.
Shit. Just basically realized, I don't know if I wanted to do this.
Yeah. And then
I mean, I guess it's better there. God, that.
And I didn't know about a recon creed or anything like that.
Yeah.
So they were like, all right, who doesn't know the creed? I raised my hand. Like, well, 28 people just quit because they didn't want to be a part of it. So write it 28 times before tomorrow morning. So I stayed up all night writing the creed.
Fuck. Been nice if you had like 5 or something.
Yeah.
I guess you remembered at that point, right?
Yeah, they definitely beat it into you.
So what was it like, man, when you...
It was good. So that was towards the end of the year. Then they ran like screeners every month. So like in March, you would have to compete for your spot to go to BRC. So you would do the NDOC every few weeks, and I was doing it. I didn't do so hot in the pool. Like I could swim, but wasn't good like swimming in uniform yet.
Correct.
I
Yeah,
needed to work
that's where
my
it's different.
technique and stuff like that. I missed the time by a few minutes, but I made up for it rucking. 5 miles.
Yeah.
I think it's an hour, but you want to shoot for like 45 minutes with 50 pounds and your rifle and everything. And I'm doing my first ruck run, and it's the low trail to Horno. And right where LAV is, there's like a creek right there. So I ran to the turnaround point, and when I tightened my ruck strap, it broke. And I get to this creek, and it kind of looks like people have gone down. It kind of doesn't. I don't remember which way it came from, so I'm like, it's recon. They probably got to go down the creek. Took off running down the creek and like tripped over a rock and fell on my right side, and it popped my collarbone. And saw somebody else run behind me, so I get up and I run. I finish just holding onto this strap, and because we didn't pass, we had to start doing suicides on the O course. And about like the 4th or 5th time pulling myself over the wall, that really messed up my collarbone.
Shit.
And that was a Thursday. The next day would be Friday, which Bulletproof Friday, the hardest day of the week, but nobody ever quits on Fridays.
Yeah.
So all the martlings go down, grab the logs, and take them up one of the fire breaks on the alpha shelf. And every level you're getting up there, you're doing log PT. At one point in time, they were having us bear crawl to a corpsman, and then from him, we would have to forward roll to a Humvee. But every time we would forward roll towards the Humvee, you'd kind of slide backwards. And just stuff to, kick our ass, try and get people to quit. And, but I just knew I needed to make it through that Friday because I had 2 weeks of block leave for the holidays.
Yeah.
So I was able to finish Friday, get home and kind of let this thing heal up and try and go back in at the start of the year to finish up. But I ended up having to take about 2 months off to let it adjust.
Damn. You can crack open your echelon if you like to, man. It's there to drink.
Calling my name.
Yeah, there you go. Let me know how you like it afterwards.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty good, right?
Yeah.
They got some new flavors as well, too.
I'll start getting those.
Yeah. So yeah, man. So you get your 2-week break. So at this point, you didn't get dropped, right?
No.
You just went right through.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty tough, especially with that injury. I think a lot of people don't realize how, especially Marines who come from the East Coast and stuff. And look, I'm gonna say it. The West Coast is better. I don't care what you say. And only we can say that to each other, right?
Yeah.
That's funny, but Pendleton sucks, man. Like there's fucking gopher holes everywhere.
Yeah.
There's rocks, and then there's high like brush that you can't see what you're stepping on. Rattlesnakes. Yeah, man. I seen a guy fall and just buttstock of his rifle, boom, and just had to get his jaw wired shut. It sucks, man. But that's neat, man. So you go through recon, and at one point throughout this whole time, do you ever feel like you want to quit?
Oh, 100%.
What was like the one moment where you're like, dude, I'm about to just walk?
So that it never came to the point where I was like contemplating really going to talk to the instructors to quit. Because the whole time I was home for those 2 weeks, I'm spending time with my family, and every time we would go out to eat with someone or go out to eat somewhere, family function or whatever, my dad, I would hear him in the background like, yeah, my son's going to be a recon Marine. He's going to be a recon Marine.
Yeah.
He's telling anybody that'll listen.
You're like, come on, man.
So every time I'm like, this sucks. Like, I feel like I'm drowning. I'm not fast enough. I'm not going to make this time, or, what have you. It was like, you can't make your dad a liar. I just kept going.
You go back to the paddle days. You're like, I ain't getting that paddle, man.
Yeah. So I got home from those 2 weeks. I took a month off trying to let my shoulder heal. Ended up getting a cortisone injection because they told me I was going to have to take a year off to get it to fully heal properly, and I wasn't.
Yeah, that's
So I
not
took
happening.
Cortisone, got back into the mix of things, and then picked up with the next class, FORTAC 12.
Yeah. I think it's funny because now that we are older and realize that our body's not capable like it used to be, I sit back and I think like, man, that's why that hurts. I remember boot camp after the Crucible. You know how you come back and you're fucking exhausted, and you finally get to wear those camis you've been IPing for the whole fucking year, or, you know, a couple months you were there, feel like a year. And you're like, finally I get to wear some nice camis, you know, and you go eat your chow and come back. And then when they make you drop down and basically skivvies, and the corpsmen come in to check you to see if everything's good, my right fat toe was like fucked, man. I had stepped on a gopher hole on the way down from the rebirth.
Yeah.
And it was awful. My ankle all the way up to my shins, it was hurting bad. I knew something was wrong. And the corpsman's like, your toe's broken, huh? I was like, I don't know. Like, you know, and he's just like, you're going to have to go to sick call. And I was like, no, man, I'm about to graduate. I'm not going to go fucking be on a working party for months until my toe heals. Like, I don't give a shit. And he looks at me, he's like, I'm going to keep going down the line. And if you can make your toe look straight, I just don't know what happened to your toe. And I looked at him, I was like, all right, we happen to be both from El Paso. So that was, I think, why he was kind of being cool. And yeah, man, I went to the fucking rain room, and with those little green towels, so just fucking bit onto one. And I told one of the guys, like, pop that shit. It crunched, man. Yeah. And I remember he comes back, he's like, looks all right, looks better. Dude, that shit was fucked, man. On my 10 days or whatever, you come back home with barely fucking walk. That shit hurt so much. And then obviously you still have graduation, standing in core frames. It's difficult, but nobody wants to go back through. Well, I knew I was going to get recycled in boot camp, but I knew I was going to have to go be one of those working party guys and sit in MCRD for, you know, whoever knows how long. I didn't want to do that. Yeah. I was like, this is going to be a hindrance to me going and actually being a fucking Marine.
Right.
Even though you know you're technically already a Marine at that point, you're not a Marine yet. Right. You know, you're still a boot. And I feel like a lot of us do that, man. I mean, just hearing what you did with your shoulder, like, I'm sure your shoulder's still not the same.
I don't sleep on my right side.
Yeah, you know, and it was neat because this week I did another podcast, and a Green Beret, Travis, and he talked about stem cell therapy and stuff, and how they've seen a pretty damn good like results and stuff from it. And we were talking about how he was even talking to Pete Hegseth and stuff like that, getting these therapies while in still, you know what I mean? So that way it's not when we're out that we're all fucked up and getting VA claims and all these different things. So you can start fixing these dudes even before, right? I think that would be neat, man, especially for like, I mean, because we can probably go get a line of 200 military guys here, and I guarantee you 150 of them have gone through some kind of injuries. You know, it's not.
It's just the nature of the beast.
It's, yeah, exactly. It's depending on what you're doing too in the military, you know, a branch, whatever it is you're doing, things change. But yeah, so you, obviously your father pretty much installed that, like, better not quit. I think, do you think he did that purposely? Like almost telling everybody like he's going to be a recon guy because he knew he would probably get in your head somehow?
No. From talking to his coworkers, I think it was more the fact that he was a proud dad, and he just, if given the opportunity to talk about his sons, he's going to talk about his sons.
That's awesome.
So that every time I wanted to quit, every time I felt like I was drowning, I just couldn't make him a liar to all those people.
Yeah.
And I just tell myself, like, they're not going to let you die. You might black out, but they're not going to let you die.
No. So you get through recon. What's that like?
It's, I mean, the greatest accomplishment of my life at the time. It's 6-9 months, somewhere in there, of just getting my ass kicked every day. Getting done, like my parents getting to drive out, see me graduate, stuff like that, and then getting a little bit of leave to go home with them. It was the best feeling I had. It 10 times more to me than, you know, getting my EGA after the Crucible or something.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's a hard task in and of itself, but the thing that made me upset about boot camp is so many people, to me, it just felt like a cattle car. Like they were just going to push people through no matter how bad they sucked.
Yeah.
And ITB was kind of the same. Like, you know, there's dirtbags everywhere, but when I graduated BRC, it was like all these people wanted to be here. They volunteered to be here.
Yeah, it's a different.
Get their asses kicked day in, day out, and try and be part of the best that the Marine Corps has to offer.
Yeah. I think that's something that not a lot of people, because I think everybody, especially the general public, they hear, oh, Marine, they think you're like this badass squared away. Like, I'm like, no, some Marines should have not ever been Marines.
Oh, yeah.
And don't get me wrong, some still fail and get kicked out, which is crazy. Because I'm like, you really have to be fucked up to get kicked out of boot camp. Like, and I mean, I'm sure you saw a lot of them. Like I saw a lot of them, or like wanting to, kill themselves in the first week and stuff. Like, for me, the one was like this guy was trying to hurt himself on week one, or not week one. It was technically week one. It was right after Black Friday, after receiving. You go do that or not the crucible, the PFT or IST, whatever the fuck they call it. And you're tired that night because you finally get to like truly sleep in an actual rack. And, the whole week you've been kind of awake. You do a PT test. You just got to your new platoon. You're nervous because your drill instructor is waking everybody up every 15 minutes, having them report and stuff.
Yeah.
And this guy is trying to like hurt himself, and he's on the ground, like trying to hit his head and shit. And somebody wakes everybody up, and then the drill instructors come in. And I knew it was serious because the drill instructors kind of like, their tone changed. Like, hey man, like calm down. Then he like clenched his fist at one of the drill instructors. And the drill instructors, I will fucking help you kill yourself right now. And I was like, oh shit. But the part for me, I was like, dude, can you like shut the fuck up? Like, I'm trying to sleep. Like, I'm fucking tired, like if that's you, then just go fucking walk to the front gate and try to run away from the MPs or something. Like, I don't know, like, don't wake us up. We some of us want to be here and some of us want to graduate. Like, can you shut the fuck up? And I saw a lot of guys that did that and, refused to train and different things like that. I know some of them were made up so that way they can scare recruits. But it's crazy, man, how a lot of people think that just because you were a Marine, you're like, or you're in the Army, you're badass, and it's not the case. So you get through all of recon training and everything. What happens next, man?
I go straight to airborne school.
Okay.
Yeah, tell my dad I'm going to airborne school. I mean, there's a little bit of dwell time where I'm kind of hanging out, waiting for orders and class dates and everything, but show up to airborne school the day after my 20th birthday or 19th birthday.
Shit.
Yeah.
Can't even buy a beer yet.
No.
Yeah. How was that? How was airborne school?
That's another one of those things, like it felt like a cattle car. Like people just getting pushed through. Being a Marine, the Army, like marching and singing and stuff like that, threw me for a loop, and then I got in trouble. We're authorized not to wear a skivvy shirt. So I showed up one day without a skivvy shirt, and they were upset with me because they would tell you to drop your top. So then I put one in my cargo pocket.
Yeah.
They were upset with that. And I finally just cut the collar off of one. And if they told us to drop our tops, I would like run to the bathroom and change. But it's too hot in Georgia to mess with a skivvy shirt.
Yeah.
I got in trouble for not keeping my feet and knees together. Having to sit like this for hours on end gets old. So I took my belt off and wrapped it around my legs and just tightened them together. I got in trouble for that. And then, get through everything, get my 5 jumps.
This episode of Calling Your Shot is fueled by Echelon Energy Drink, the mission-ready performance drink developed with input from over 2,000 U.S. military service members. Echelon isn't just your average energy drink. It's a pre-workout in a can, packed with 300 milligrams of caffeine, 200 milligrams of L-theanine, beta-alanine, and fiber, formulated for clean, focused energy without the crash. Flavors like Mango Reaper, Yuzu Cayenne, and Berry Habanero are anything but ordinary. Each can delivers bold taste and a long-lasting performance, designed for those who don't back down from a challenge and a little spice. But Echelon's impact goes beyond the can. Their unapologetically military forward branding and real-world product testing build morale and pride within the armed forces. It's not just fuel, it's a reminder of who you are and what you stand for. Check them out at drinkechelon.com. Again, drinkechelon.com, and see why Echelon is the official energy drink of the United States military and now this podcast. Echelon Energy, mission-ready fuel for those who dare.
And I jumped, and it was just kind of like anticlimactic. I'm falling from the aircraft and everything. Like, once my parachute opened, I was like, man, this is it. Like, that's all there is to it. Like, it's not that fun.
Yeah.
And do the 5 jumps, get ready for graduation, and they're like, who's second generation airborne here? And I raised my hand. And they're like, okay, you're going to come to the front in front of all the staff and the generals and everything, and whoever's your dad, grandpa, or whatever can pin you your airborne wings. Like, you guys don't want to do that. Like, why? Like, you're one of the only Marines we've ever seen do this, blah, blah, blah. Like, my dad's going to blood wing me. And they're like, no, he's not allowed to do that. I'm like, okay, he's
gonna do it. Yeah.
So I'm dead center of this group of people getting pinned from previous generations. And as the guy's announcing, like, this is first generation, pending second generation, you know, DOD enforces a strict no blood winging policy. He like pulls the turtle backings off and throws them over his shoulder onto the stage and just looks at me and says, "Don't flinch," and broke both pins off in my chest. And I reached down and grabbed my wings and run back into formation. And like, there's a picture of us and he's having to hold my wings on with his finger. Get back into formation, and Master Sergeant Colbert, Iceman from Generation Kill, is a Marine liaison at Airborne School.
Yeah.
He comes up to us and he's like, "What the fuck was that?" And my dad pulls his shirt down. He's got his gold wings tattooed on his chest.
Yeah.
And he's like, "You know, I was airborne in the 80s, this and that." And he's like, "All right, well, there's like 13 Marines in this company. Like, go pin them all." And he went through and pinned all my, because they were all recon guys.
Yeah.
Went through and pinned all my friends with their wings.
Did he fuck everybody up? Or?
Oh, yeah.
That's pretty badass, though. I mean, I know that's like frowned upon now, but like, it's a tradition. I mean, do you remember getting, I don't know if you did or not, but I'm pretty sure you did. You picked up corporal.
Oh, I got my blood stripes.
Yeah. Fucking shit, dude.
got
Shit hurt. Like,
Yeah.
it's awful, you know? And it's like, I hear, like, my nephew's in the Marine Corps right now, DI, and I feel like a lot of those traditions are gone now.
I think it just depends on where you're at.
Where you're at, yeah.
Who's keeping them going.
Man, that's great. Damn, so that's cool. I mean, I guess they figured, like, all right, we're going to fucking make all of you guys go
Yeah.
through it. So were you guys all recon, the Marines over there?
Yeah, for the most part. There were some radio recon guys. I think there was one dude there for a re-enlistment bonus or something like that. But
Yeah.
we're all just 10-foot tall Lance Corporals fresh out of BRC.
Yeah.
Feeling bulletproof.
Fuck yeah. What did they say? Young, dumb, and full of cum.
Yeah.
Yeah. Piss and vinegar.
Yeah.
So you finish recon school, you go to airborne. What happens after that, man?
Hang out for a little bit. We did a pre-dive, and that was miserable. I think it was 2 weeks. And then like towards the end of it, they're like, "You guys can't even really go to dive school. Like, you're all going to Okinawa," and kind of get that culture shock of, I'm not across the country anymore. I'm gonna be across the world from my parents.
Yeah.
And get out there and try to just not get eaten alive by the NCOs that are there.
Yeah.
And there's a couple of times I definitely got my ass kicked. You know, getting wet and sandy. You go to your first paddle party, and the legends that are there that you're hearing about that are from the, you know, the past wars that are, I mean, they're still going on at the time, but they've been there and done that. And you're just now stepping into their realm. So you show up in green on green. Everybody else is black and gold. And we were having to run from the point to the PX to get pallets, and we'd have to run with the pallets over our head to keep the fire going. And then if somebody was without a beer, you had to open a beer and give it to them. And then every now and then as the night went on, somebody would take you out to the surf, get you wet and sandy, scuff you up a little bit, and try and impart some sober-ish wisdom upon you.
Yeah.
And then it was just trying to keep my nose clean so I didn't get my ass kicked more than I needed to, and learn as much as I possibly could.
When did you finally start to feel like you were being kind of accepted into the group?
His name's Schmidt, but when him and a couple other NCOs, I say Schmidt because he lived next door to me, invited me out to go drinking with them.
Yeah.
That's when I was kind of like, okay, I guess I'm doing okay here.
Yeah, he's gonna hang out. Because there's that term, right? I wouldn't go have a fucking beer with you, man.
Yeah.
Like, if I have a beer with you, then you're cool. Like,
Yeah. Because until then, it was like, you know, you open your door and you kind of look out in the hallway, make sure none of them are out there.
Hey.
Text your buddy like, "Hey, I'm coming over. Like, unlock your door."
Yeah. This episode of Calling Your Shot is brought to you by Zemo Pouches, a bold, tobacco-free nicotine pouch that delivers flavor, comfort, and independence from big tobacco. Crafted with a unique water-free, semi-dry formula, Zemo pouches offer a steady release of nicotine and long-lasting taste. Made with soft, non-woven cotton imported from the UK, these slim pouches are gentle on the gums and built for all-day comfort. Zemo doesn't cut corners when it comes to flavor. Whether it's blueberry, grape, or wintergreen, every pouch packs a punch, thanks to high-quality ingredients sourced from their top-tier UK suppliers. Plus, each pouch uses pharmaceutical-grade nicotine, so you know you're getting premium quality with every pull. Zemo is proudly independent, no corporate giants, just a mission to give you a smarter, better option. Explore all of their flavors and strengths at ZemoPouches.com. Again, ZemoPouches.com. Zemo Pouches. That's funny. So, Okinawa, do you go anywhere from Okinawa, or you stay there for a while? Or
We did, so I go from there, spend my first Christmas away, because in January I'm going to free fall.
Yeah.
Go to free fall in Arizona. Marine Corps has their own school in Casa Grande, or near Casa Grande. That was a fun course. I remember I was super nervous because you had to pack your own chute, and it's timed.
Yeah.
So I'm not struggling to pack this chute, but trying to manage time, but also make sure everything's perfect. And there's riggers checking everything. It's like you're not doing anything unsafe.
Yeah.
But the realization of like, I just folded this bed sheet together. Now I got to go jump it. It's a little bit more nerve-wracking. We've done tunnel time and stuff like that. My first jump, I was with C Notes. He puts his hand on my shoulder. He falls out backwards. I fall out forwards and do exactly what I'm not supposed to do and look at the ground. So I immediately start doing.
Oh shit.
And I get leveled off, like arch my hips, arch my back, point my hips, let's get leveled off, and I'm falling, and I see him off to my side, and instead of turning my head to look at him, I turn my entire body, so I start flipping again.
Oh, fuck.
And I get stable and get to the ground and everything, but I remember calling my dad, and, I was still shaking from adrenaline. Like, that's what I thought I was going to get from static line.
Yeah.
And Dad had just finished a SWAT hit, and he was saying they threw a flashbang through the window, and it landed on the couch next, either in the guy's lap or adjacent to it. So when it blew up, he jumped up as they were coming through the door, and Dad just like pretty much muzzle thumped him with the pistol or the bulletproof shield.
Yeah.
And like leveled him. It's like we both had an adrenaline dump going. We were both excited, gassed up.
Except you're fucking damn near falling out of the sky, making every mistake in the book that you're not supposed to do.
Yeah.
Did it kind of discourage you after that, or were you kind of like, fuck it, like I just fucked up? Like,
no, the instructors fall with you and they film everything, so it's like, hey, what were you doing here? Like, better than that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But it's your first jump, they expect you to be sky trash.
Yeah.
And as long as you're progressively getting better and you're not doing anything dangerous like low level turns, they're gonna keep working with you.
Okay. So, because you got what, like over 30 jumps now, right?
Yeah, it was 25 at the schoolhouse, like just enough to get your A license.
Okay.
And we were jumping 3 times a day. You jump, pack, jump, pack, jump, pack.
Just keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah. The last guest that I had on, he had a jump accident in Arizona, pretty much ended his career. But
oh man,
yeah, I guess it was a night jump, got caught in like a dust devil is what it sounded like.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And then obviously Arizona, so
I'm a bit heavy, so I don't really have to worry about getting caught in thermals or stuff like that.
So you finish up jump school and everything. Where do you go from there?
After free fall, I go home for 2 weeks, or for a week. I talked to my platoon sergeant, go home, spend a week with family, and then fly from Houston back to Okinawa. We were getting ready for our first deployment, so we were doing our pre-shoot for the 8-week-long close quarters combat shooting package we were going to do. And everything I was looking forward to when I joined the military, like blowing up doors, throwing flashbangs, shooting guns. I would talk to my dad all the time about it. He knew it was coming up, and he had a red 1911 training pistol from the police department. Mm-hmm. And he's like, here, take this with you so you can do dry fire with it. And he's like, well, we need to take a picture with it first so they don't think you're trying to steal it, because we were issued 1911s.
Yeah.
So the company had their own. And it's me and him. He's sitting in his armchair, and his eyes are almost closed in the picture.
Yeah.
Like just a bad picture, but it was the last picture we ever took together.
So did your father, and not that I want to skip around or anything, but your father, did he pass while you were still in the Marine Corps? Or?
Yeah. I think we were the 3rd week into the package.
So this is like during that time.
Yeah.
Okay.
We started free fall January 1st, went through January, and I was home our first week of February. And then after that, our pre-shoot was a couple weeks. There was breaching school in there too. And then going into the shooting package, it was April. And that's, we had just finished cold rifle pistol qual And I was talking to him about it before then, like nervous, like not wanting to fail. Like if you fail your pistol qual, like you're the guy running around the house with a red gun because you can't be trusted to shoot inside the house. And I would call him every day and talk to him about, with the time change, talk to him about what we did that day, what he thought about like this problem I was having and stuff like that. And he would give his input, but he'd always say, like, listen to those staff NCOs. Like, I know my shit, but those guys are salty. Like, make sure you pay attention. Kind of thing. And he would always, you might have seen it on my Instagram. He would, till the day he died, he would still call me Devil Pup.
Yeah.
And he would tell me, like, aim small, miss small. Like, me and Mike are going to the deer lease. We'll call you if we get service. Kind of thing. That was the last text message I got from him. It was 2 days before the accident.
It's out of Kerrville or something like that, right?
Yeah.
That area?
The Rock Springs area. So,
and you can talk about it if you like, but he was out stopping to help somebody or something like that, right?
Yeah, they were leaving the deer lease, and they'd been on the road for probably 45 minutes to an hour from Rock Springs to Kerrville, and there was a bad accident. The guy fell asleep at the wheel, caused kind of like a pile up. There was a Honda Fit that had been fitted with a U-Haul trailer that has no business pulling a trailer. So they were involved, and it jackknifed the trailer. And so him and Huffman were both cops. They've been partners forever on the SWAT team forever. They pull their badges out. They park on the other side of this bridge, and they're running up to assist. This 18-wheeler's coming along and doesn't want to slow down, so he gets a lane over, sees the trailer in the lane that he's in last minute, and swerves and goes through the entire scene. And I don't know, I'm pretty sure Dad was able to help Huffman get out of the way, but he took the brunt of everything, and it threw him off the bridge. He died on impact.
Damn, sorry about that, man.
It literally took Optimus Prime to kill him.
Yeah. I mean, from what I've heard of your father, guy's done a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's crazy, man. Like, you sit back and you think about it, you're like, the things your dad did, from what I know already, like from the people I've talked to, I'm like, did some crazy, very high risk.
Yeah.
High risk, what is it? High risk, low reward type of work, and he died doing what he was set to do. He's helping people out, and
it's all he ever wanted was, I mean, it was a joke at the time, but it was like, if I get cancer and I like shit in diapers and stuff like that, like take me to the deer lease and wheel me out in the woods with a Glock and then come get me the next day, kind of thing. Like, he wanted to go out with his boots on. He didn't want to die in a hospital bed, sick, decrepit, weak. Like, and I don't think I didn't handle his death well at the beginning, but I definitely couldn't have handled like watching him die from cancer. Like, looking back at it, it's easy to joke about now and say, it took Optimus Prime to kill him.
Yeah.
That's just.
Do you think that helps you though understand that like your dad went out the way that he would at least want to go? Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, he was actually literally pretty much doing police work at that time still as well. Yeah, I think that's something where I've heard people were like, oh, I want to die this way, I want to die that way, and there's part of me like, the fuck you mean? I don't want to die at all, But you sit there and you think about it, you're like, man, like, right, like, I would hate to die that other way,
Yeah.
Guess we all have a wish of how we would like to die, right? And it's sad and unfortunate that your father had to pass, but I guess the good thing about it is he got to go down the way he would at least envisioned it, right? And not, like you said, in a bed, or you guys having to change his diapers and stuff. And sorry to hear that, man, but I think he really installed a lot in you, and I can see why it bothered you for so long. So
yeah, he was like I said when we talked on the phone the first time, he was Superman.
Yeah.
And at least every 3 days when I was in Okinawa, we were calling and talking on the phone. Like, one of us would stay up later, one of us would wake up early. So
it was your dad and your best friend and everything all at once. Yeah. And I guess he can understand you and you can understand him.
Yeah.
So your father passes away. You're in Okinawa at the time. Did you steer course, or you just came back for, all that? And
well, I came back. My brother called me. It was like 10 a.m. in Okinawa. We were 12 hours ahead, so 10 p.m. here when they found out. we'd passed that rifle pistol call the night before, so we went out, had a good time. We were just waking up, like going to get some more beer because it was a Saturday, and got the phone call, and it felt like the world just went out from underneath me.
Yeah.
And called my platoon sergeant, told him what was going on. They had damaged some equipment in the barracks out of just frustration. And he still calls me every year on my dad's anniversary. His name's Justin. He was with me when it happened, and he never left my side for 3 days. We had to wait for the Red Cross message to get through the Marine Corps and stuff like that in order for me to get actually home.
Yeah.
But it's funny, like, he slept on the floor in my barracks room, and he was just trying to occupy me to keep me from dwelling on it. We were drinking heavily and eating whatever. And my roommate had a hard drive. He wasn't there at the time, so we were using his hard drive to watch movies, and that Robert Downey Jr. and Zach Galifianakis movie had just come out, Due Date.
Yeah, Due Date, yeah.
Where Zach Galifianakis' dad died.
Yeah.
He's got a coffee can of his ashes.
Oh, yeah. Damn it, yeah.
We're sitting there.
No.
We have a whiskey and Coke, and we're both watching it. Like, sitting on the bed watching the TV, and like we're both kind of glancing at each other. He's finally like, I can't take this anymore. Like, this was the worst possible choice for him.
Yeah.
Could have done.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like one of those laughing through the tears kind of moments.
Yeah.
We still joke about it to this day.
Yeah, and then I guess it doesn't help. You're like with another Marine, and we're not the most normal people in the world. So yeah.
He sat there and, I mean, watched me like snot slinging, cry, listen to stories of my dad for 3 days. Never left my side.
Like, I think you bringing that up right now about how you had a brother there with you, and I say brother because I feel like in the Marine Corps we all become brothers to an extent, In fact, I've been closer to some of my Marine brothers than I have even in my own brother, brothers. And, like today, this is a random topic, but today I was going through my neighborhood Facebook page. People complain about everything. And it's currently about to be Veterans Day and also the Marine Corps birthday tomorrow. And there is a bunch of flags in the neighborhood. And when I first moved in, and I'm not saying I did this, but I was like, hey, let's get some flags out here. Like, let's do something for these days. So we had gotten the Boy Scouts to bring some flags over and stuff like that. And then your pops' friend, Randy, his neighbor, a couple houses down, he does the Knights of Columbus or something like that. And he finally got this thing established where now every holiday we have flags in the neighborhood. It's awesome. I love to see it. And somebody got on Facebook complaining about it today. They were like, it's just like low class. It looks like, flags hanging off the back of a pickup truck. And like, because there's flags at all the entrances and they're on poles, And this girl complained, and I normally will say stuff, but I was like, I kept typing, and I was like, no, I'll stop. I kept typing. I was like, no, I'll stop. And I remember I put a comment on there, and I was like, because a lot of people were starting to grill her out, and I put a comment on there. I was like, I'm just going to sit this one out. Yeah, but I'm going to sit this one out because I really want to tell you what I really feel right now, but whatever. And it goes back to thinking about what we were just talking about right now, the brotherhood and stuff. And those are the reason why we celebrate these days and fly our flags high.
Yep.
Because, young kids, man, getting out of high school, go and literally train to protect this country and go through some of the most grueling type of training that most civilians in this current world we live in won't survive.
Yeah.
And we learn to lean on each other and support each other. And we can come from two different walks of life, but at that moment, we're all wearing the exact same thing, and we're the exact same thing, and that's Marines.
Yeah.
And in other cases, soldiers, airmen, whatever. And there's that brotherhood that we build. So when I see people talk shit about it and put it down, it bothers me. It does. And not because I'm going to sit there and be like, well, you don't, blah, you don't know what it feels like to walk my boots. No, I'm not going to go there because they didn't choose to have that life. But I will be, just like they have the freedom to talk shit, I will talk shit back because I have that freedom to tell them how I feel. And when you're telling me this story about this Marine who's sitting there and damn near getting drunk with you and eating and, you know, staying by your side because you're halfway across the world and you just lost your father, reminds me of a moment this morning of why I was mad. Because, yeah, you might have not lost your life in combat or any of that stuff, or your father, but it just goes to show you the level of sacrifice that service members have to live so that people can go complain on a neighborhood Facebook page about why there's flags flying in the neighborhood for Veterans Day, right? So it's frustrating, man, but that little story you just said right there, it brought that emotion out of me because I was pretty pissed off when I was coming here this morning because of what I saw. And your dad's friend Randy, he probably already seen the post. He'll probably text me later. Did you fucking see this? Yeah. He's a good guy, by the way, man. It's crazy because I've heard a lot of stories now about your dad, you know, just sitting back in a backyard smoking a cigar and drinking whiskey, and I've got to hear about your dad, so I was really excited to bring you on here, man. It's
Probably got some stories I never got to hear.
Yeah, definitely the one that I heard while I was in San Antonio. We'll talk about it afterwards, but I was like, oh shit, like it's a wild story.
Yeah.
But so you lose your father, man. You're about to go on your first deployment with the Marine Corps. Where's your mindset at when all this happens?
I wanted to get home. So my mom and my dad were high school sweethearts, so I know she was going to take it hard, and she wasn't going to be able to do anything until I got home. Not because I was like the linchpin holding everything together, but it's something this tragic. She wanted her sons there with her. And I spend my 2 weeks at home. I go back to my platoon. We're doing our stuff. And I think where my mindset went was, now I've got to try harder to be who he was. And it was, looking back at it, it was me not properly grieving. It was almost like, if I can be the exact same man he was, I can keep him alive in a sense, but not in a good way. My team leader told me at the time, he's like, hey man, you're trying to be your dad. You need to be Alec. And I took it the wrong way. Like, what do you mean? Like, my dad was awesome. Like, my dad was great at everything he did. Like, why would I not want to be like him? And he was just trying to get me to understand, like, his shoes are gone. You can't fill them, but you can walk in the same path if you want to.
Yeah. So obviously it's not something that you're going to just get over, and, you know, but what was finally your breaking point to say, like, okay, like, not that you were no longer grieving him, but where you kind of accepted it to an extent?
Probably seeing him in the casket and getting, you know, I was home long enough to do the funeral and everything. Saw him before the service and everything like that, without his hat and his shirt on and everything like that. So I saw the damage. And it's probably being able to take like a dip can full of his ashes with me. And I started doing that then. Everywhere I went in the world, I took a can of his ashes and I would bury him somewhere. In the training site, we jumped into Grom via free fall. I dumped his ashes out under canopy at 5,000 feet. Anything I could do where I knew it would be something like I wish I could call and talk to him about, I would take a can of his ashes.
That's badass, man. I'm sure he's living a journey because of that. Like, I can only imagine you free falling and letting out his ashes. Like, you know, I don't know your dad, but I can only imagine he would probably be on the phone telling you, like, fuck yeah, man. Like, you know, dump me in the air, man. Let's do it. Yeah.
Now it's a joke. Like, you know, my dumping out his big toe, you know, his right ass cheek.
Yeah.
What part of him's getting left all over the world.
Yeah. That's good, man. It's good that you've done that for your father. And I think, you know, you've started your own family and stuff. And I think it's important to get this all, you know, on document, because it just shows how you have been able to continue your father's legacy. And I can definitely see that you had a very close relationship to your father, and he meant a lot to you. And obviously we haven't got to these parts of the story just yet, but just seeing what you're currently doing right now with what you're about to do starting next week, and we won't go into detail with that, but it just shows that you continue to live his legacy, and you're doing it up, man. And I think that's going to be something good for your kids in the future to see like what you've done, but also how you handled your father's passing and stuff, because I'm sure they are not going to get to see grandpa, right?
Yeah.
But you're going to be able to give them a lot of what grandpa was, and, show them what their grandfather was, and show them the legacy of the grandfather that they had. This episode of Calling Your Shot is brought to you by Berserker Built, a veteran-owned brand where artistry meets purpose. Founded by U.S. Navy veteran Timothy DeMeo, Berserker Built crafts custom skateboards and apparel inspired by Viking and Norse designs. But they're more than just a brand. They're on a mission to support mental health initiatives for veterans and first responders battling with PTSD, TBI, and much more. Each purchase contributes to this cause, turning functional art into a beacon of hope. Whether you're looking for a unique board or gear that stands for something greater, Berserker Built delivers quality with a conscience. Explore the collection and support the mission at berserkerbuilt.com. Again, berserkerbuilt.com. Berserker Built, crafted with purpose and driven by honor. This episode of Calling Your Shot is brought to you by Operation Path Forward, a nonprofit based in Montana, dedicated to supporting active duty military, veterans, and first responders. Founded by Navy veteran Timothy DeMeo and his wife Tabitha, Operation Path Forward provides curated care packages and is developing a wilderness retreat in Montana to offer holistic healing through nature, community, and specialized therapies. By partnering with veteran-owned businesses and like-minded organizations, they deliver morale-boosting resources and practical gear to those who have served. To support their mission or nominate a hero for a care package, visit operationpathforward.org. Again, operationpathforward.org. Operation Path Forward, because no hero should have to walk alone. Check them out, guys. Operation Path Forward.
And all that's true. And I've also been blessed. My wife's father is a great man. My daughter's 19 months old. So last year when I got home from sniper school, we took her to the Deerleys for the first time. And that was kind of surreal to watch. Like I always pictured that being like my kid and my dad, but now it's my father-in-law. And I don't think I could, obviously I could ask for a better outcome with it being my dad, but not a better stand-in.
Yeah.
Father-in-law loves his grandkids, and it's hunting. So it's like one of the things me and my dad always did together. I can't tell you how many times I finished high school football. He was waiting in the parking lot, truck, trailer, four-wheeler, everything, and we would drive all night and try and catch the morning hunt. And then sleep, and then wake up, do it all again the next week. So I'm blessed in that aspect of having my father-in-law be there to teach my kids the same stuff that my dad would want taught to them.
It's awesome. It's a big shoes for your father-in-law. He's like, God damn it. Like, all right, I guess let's do it,
Yeah.
That's awesome, man. Like I said, not a lot of families have that ability, right? To have that closeness and somebody to be there for them. This being a Marine and now in the Army, getting to see there's some guys that come from some broken homes and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
You wonder why some of their lives go to shit later on and everything. But so you go in the Marine Corps, you go on this deployment with your recon guys. What's your first deployment like?
So it's the 31st MU.
30 worst.
Yep. We're pretty much bouncing around place to place, doing training with different people. For the most part, we spent a lot of time in Australia. And, we would come back, spend some time in Oki for, a week or so, and then go back out on the ship. I think that's the only benefit that 31st MU has over the other ones is we'll dock back up in Oki, get off the boat, have some time to kind of decompress.
Yeah. Yeah, my nephew had a long MU, and I don't think it went well for him. Yeah. So your first deployment, obviously, is it something you wanted, or are you kind of like, you're not satisfied? You're like, yeah,
Definitely not satisfied. Like, I joined the Marine Corps for like one thing and one thing only, and I wasn't getting that opportunity.
Like, I think I've never said this on the podcast before, but I had a prior guest who was also, he was actually my first guest, Hunter Robichaux. You know Chad Robichaux?
Yeah.
Hunter's his son. He was a Marine as well. And he said something during that podcast that I guess recently I kind of listened to it and I was like, he's not wrong. When we all join the Marine Corps, we don't join the Marine Corps. If you really join the Marine Corps thinking you're going for college funds and stuff like that, like you're kind of, you're full of shit. Or maybe you're not full of shit, whatever. But most Marines don't think that. I think that when you join the Marine Corps, you realize you're going to a branch that might put you in a spot where you're going to do some things that most people won't do in their life, or that they're going to ask you to do some things that not a lot of people can do. And yeah, I know we all have that facade of like, yeah, you get some, do this, that, and everything. But there's a part of that is very real and accurate. Like you truly do know, like, I'm here to kill somebody. Not that you want to kill somebody.
Like a psycho way.
Yeah. But if it comes to the point and my country needs me, I'm going to go fuck somebody up. And I think that's taken lightly by a lot of people. And, you know, it's I can see where some people can sit here and be like, why the hell did you want to go to combat? Like, you're not satisfied with a MEU or anything. But no, that's what you joined the Marine Corps for.
And it's like, I equate it to, you know, I've talked to my wife about this. It's like you go to college and you study and study and study to get your degree, but you never get to take that final test to see how you would actually perform what you've been studying.
Yeah.
And it's you know, I'm not crazy. I wasn't going for bloodlust, but like I grew up with my dad and my brother both seeing combat. My uncle was a corpsman in Vietnam. You know, my grandfather was in the Navy. My great-grandfather was in the Texas National Guard and fought in Italy. I've had those experiences growing up and listening to all of them, and it's always been a question, you know, Saving Private Ryan, Black Hawk Down, all those war movies that came out when we were kids, like watching those and just thinking, like, how would I do? How would I perform?
How would I? It's funny you say that, because I feel like me and you are damn near the same. We were in boot camp around the same time and everything, and we did grow up with all that stuff, you know, like Pearl Harbor and stuff like that. Yeah. And it's just like for me, it's a legacy, man. Like I've taken my kids up to DC and we went to the cemetery and I've literally veered off and I took my daughter to Bassilone's grave and showed her who he was, and I told her who he was and why I think he's a legend, and she till this day still remembers. And, you know, I took her to the Iwo Jima Memorial and everything because I'm honored to know that there was men like that before me. You know, like sometimes I'm like, man, I wish I lived in that generation just to be around those kind of dudes. Yeah. You know, because they're solid dudes, man. And yeah, I can definitely see where you're like, fuck. Like I want my time to shine. I want to see if I'm able to perform in the dance as well. You know? Yeah. I see what you mean. So you obviously it's not just this MEU. You do a lot of training. You get a lot of experience around the world. You start getting into some other stuff now with the Marine Corps, right? It was when you started working with, I believe you worked with POTUS 2 times or something.
Yeah, we finished I think it was after my second one. After my second one, we came back from block leave and we were going to have to run an RPAT, which is the Recon Physical Assessment Test, one of those things that kind of keeps you in check. Like if you fail it enough times, they can strip you of your MOS. Yeah. And of course, it's like, you know, holiday block leave, I'm eating like crap. I'm probably drinking more than I should and definitely not looking forward to it. And then last minute change, they scoop a bunch of us up and we end up working with the Secret Service while POTUS is out traveling.
How was that?
Kind of eye-opening. The sheer amount of money that comes in when you're attached to something like that, like, you know, buying out an entire floor of a hotel where it's key card access, and then there's nothing gets in or out of there. Like they have everything self-contained in there, you know, food, drinks, everything that you could need. I don't think I've ever seen more Pelican cases at one location. That's all the equipment they brought with them.
The fucking shit you paid attention to, the Pelican case, like, fuck, dude, that's a lot of money. Like, I think if you see a lot of Pelican cases, it's a lot of money. Like, I mean, I have a couple in here, and I'm like, oh, fuck, it costs a lot of money. So, you know, I think that's neat that you say that, though, because I think a lot of people don't realize what it costs and the efforts it costs when POTUS moves. You know, like, it's not cheap.
Yeah. You're seeing Air Force One and Marine One. They had vans. and they stitched the presidential seal and reupholstered these vans, and then when they left, they just left them on the airfield. And it's like, well, that's a ton of waste right there.
Yeah, it's just gone.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shit, man. That's crazy. They're like, yeah, at one point that van was used to try.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So when did you finally start saying like, all right, like, because was it when you worked with the Peshmerga, was that with the Marine Corps or the Army?
No, I had gotten out.
So before okay, this was your contracting days, right? Maybe, or
right before I got out of the Marine Corps, I tried for MARSOC.
Okay.
And I got turned away.
Yeah, so that's where I kind of wanted to get at. What was it to finally say, all right, I'm getting out of the Marine Corps?
It was trying to go to MARSOC. I had an opportunity to go to another platoon. They were offering me scout sniper and stuff like that, but the guy that was going to be the platoon sergeant over it, the whole time I was getting ready to go to selection, he was grilling me. You know, why do you want to go there? They're not even that good. Like, why don't you stay here? Why are you trying to leave the community, kind of thing? And I knew he was going to be in charge of me, and it had already kind of gotten to me that I was going to get sent to Aishima, which is a smaller island off of Okinawa where it's just a drop zone.
Yeah.
And barracks. There's nothing else out there.
Yeah.
You have to take a ferry to get anywhere. And I had 2 months left on my contract, so I was like, I'm not doing that. I'm just going to get out. Got out, tried school, still not good at school. Still can't pay attention to stuff I don't care about. It wasn't working out. Started worked at a gun store, kind of did some training. I was mainly there just to buy guns and have some extra income while I was going to school. And then started working at a chemical plant. Realized how bad that life could suck. It's golden handcuffs.
Yeah.
You made a ton of money, but you're always there.
Yeah.
And my dad's old trunk monkey, Andy, British Royal Marine, calls me and he's like, hey, I'm in Iraq. Like, do you want to come contract? And I was like, sure. So that's probably September. By that January, I was flying to Erbil. And he had everything waiting for me. Security starts going through my bags, and he just makes a phone call, hands it to the guy. And it's Barzani's brother. And he's like, hey, let this guy through. And he gets me through, and we had like a traditional contracting aspect of it, and then there's like a humanitarian side where they were helping clothe the kids. They were pulling out of Mosul, set them up schools, food, and stuff like that. And that was a pretty eye-opening experience, seeing like everything these kids had just gone through. And I was thinking about kids like in America. It's like, oh, my tablet's taken away. I'm going to throw a temper tantrum. It's like this kid has seen the brutalities of life, like watched his parents executed in front of him, like almost killed themselves. And like all they want to do when you show up is like play soccer or, climb on you because you're the tall American, get thrown in the air, just like be a happy little kid. And that's all they want. And the cool thing I thought is they would let the kids paint as like a form of coping and getting stuff out. And then they would sell that artwork. And there was one kid, I'm pretty sure he was rescued by the SAS. If I could have afforded it, I would have bought the painting. But it was, a solid black like silhouette of a figure like kneeling down in fire, like no facial features, just the outline of him, and had SAS wings coming up off the top of it. And it is like, what is that? Where this kid was when the people came and saved him? Like, what was he going through when he did this? It was a beautiful piece of artwork. I think it ended up going for like 20 grand or something like that.
Wow. And it's sad though that they had to go through fucked up shit. They put it all in art.
Yeah.
Like, sad. It's pretty sad, man. I think that's where, I think you can agree with me. This is why a lot of us are very vocal and frustrated with stuff going on currently around the world.
Yes.
Because we see the suffering that these people have to go through. It's different between me and you if we sat here and agreed to put a rifle around our freaking shoulder and fire at each other and fight each other. But those kids and stuff like that, they don't have to go through this shit.
Yeah.
And unfortunately they do.
Right.
They have no choice. They're stuck. So you go to Iraq. How's contracting for you? Like, what's...
So it's different, all the money that the NGOs are raising is going back into the kids. So we're kind of floating in limbo at the moment. Like, there's enough money raised to get us plane tickets there, get us all the equipment we need to, go in and do whatever we can to help. For the most part, we're trying to help the Pesh, and basic stuff. Like they had an American 50 cal they mounted to a drone that this guy built out of just spare parts. It was like a little tank, and they kept blowing the feed tray cover off it because they were trying to put 12-7 rounds in it.
Oh, shit.
And like trying to explain to them, like, American, Russian, like, it's not a Dushka, it doesn't work. They were just like, oh, 50 is 50. Like, well, no. Jeff was a Canadian guy that was a contractor for a while, and he had a gunsmithing business on the side, so he was teaching them a lot of ways to self-repair their weapons because they were having a hard time getting equipment in when stuff was breaking. And it was little shit, like they weren't they'd pull the charging handle back on a machine gun and then not push it back forward, so it was snapping charging handles off.
Yeah.
And you have good guys that, one guy said he'd been fighting since he was 13, like his entire family was dead. He's the last one alive.
Jeez.
And talking about how he can get a machine gun started without the charging handle being there. And just like the little tidbits, there was some actually pretty squared away dudes in there.
This guy has fought pretty hard, man. It kind of sucks now that we've classified them as...
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not, I love my Pesh guys. I'm not happy about that at all.
I'm not happy about that either, man. Like, that's the reality of how things work in the world where look at Syria now. Their president was on our most wanted list.
That still blows my mind.
Blows me the fuck away, man. But we won't get into that. Yeah. It's another long fucking story. Yeah. So you're out there, you're helping the Pesh guys, you do your thing. What happens after that, man?
Come home. Before that, I did what any boot would do before going overseas and got married. And that, nothing happened while I was over there, but this crack started to show in the foundation when I got home.
Yeah.
I don't hold any ill will against her. We didn't work out, and I wouldn't change the experience of going through a divorce and a failed marriage because it taught me what I needed to actually be for my wife now.
Yeah.
And what I was looking for in a partner. It taught me more to not look for the partner myself, but look to God for the right woman that he's going to put in my life to be my partner.
Yeah.
Like, I joke now, like, that was my practice wife. Like, I got all the bad habits out of the way, stuff like that. And now I can be the man I need to be for my wife now.
Seems like you got a pretty good thing going on too.
Yeah. Yeah. She's puts up with a lot of me.
Yeah.
And it frustrates her because my daughter is kind of just like me.
Oh shit. She's in trouble now.
Yeah, she's a handful. She's the best thing ever.
Yeah. Is your daughter a redhead as well too?
No, thank God.
Okay, good. So then she's not. There's still hope.
She wanted her to be a redhead so bad, and she came out and her hair was brown, but the cradle cap fell out, and it's all bleach blonde, just like my wife's.
Oh, okay. So she got saved then. She's good. Yeah. I always say, man, redheads, man. I don't know what the hell's wrong with you people. So, when do you go to the Army, man?
So I got back from Iraq, kind of kicked around, did a bunch of crap, started working for a pipeline company with my buddy's dad, looking for a job when I got home. And I missed the brotherhood, that I had it in the Marine Corps when I was in Erbil. So I tried going back in the Marine Corps. Amos is a commandant at the time. I think I can still get away with it. Critical skills MOS, 2 deployments. Try and get back in, and they deny me for my tattoos.
Amos is not.
I finished my sleeves when I got out. And I have a buddy of mine he was a Marine Scout Sniper, Recon Marine as well, out of San Antonio, Force Recon. He left the Marine Corps and went to this unit when it was LURS. When they disbanded LURS, it became an airborne infantry unit. So I hit him up, asked him about the unit, and he told me it was a good place, like, come on over, go to Bravo Company. find a recruiter, and they're like, yeah, we'll give you 20 grand for 6 years. Sold. Signed my life away for 6 years and experienced the culture shock of the Army.
Yeah. How was that?
Really, really different. The first drill I went to, we had an airborne operation, and I haven't jumped static line. This is 2018. I haven't jumped static line since 2012. Did my 5 jumps at airborne school, and that was it.
Yeah.
So like, okay, you need a refresher. Put me through the basic airborne refresher, sustained airborne training, and put me in an aircraft and had me jump on the airfield in Fort Worth. And I went feet, ass, head right on the tarmac.
Oh.
Rung my bell. And it was just one of those things, like, I'm still seeing straight, so I'm not going to say anything.
Yeah.
And jumped in that night. But the weird thing was, like, everybody was sleeping in cots in this hangar. And we're getting a brief, and I'm walking over there with my rifle. And everybody's like, no, you can just leave it on your bed. And I start looking around, and everybody's rifles are just placed on their beds near all their equipment and everything. I'm like, this has got to be a joke. Somebody's going to come in and start taking rifles, right?
Yeah.
Like, no, dude, this is okay. You can leave your rifle there. You're in a safe space. Let's just go over here, get the Mako Daco brief, and we can go back to it. That was a big shock. And then the caliber of person in the unit was, you hear National Guard, and you think of all the fat guys from GWAT wearing a combat top that's 3 sizes too small.
Yeah.
And then you get somewhere like my unit, and there's prior LURS guys, there's prior Ranger Battalion guys.
So you got some squared away dudes.
You got a lot of squared away dudes, more than I was expecting, especially at this senior, like NCO senior leader level. A lot of squared away individuals in there.
So, I mean, I guess that's a plus. It's funny you say that thing of the rifles. Not too long ago, I had gone to Slick's CQB course that he had, or night vision CQB. It's a pretty good course. Slick's a damn good instructor. Yeah. And in the night, when we were in this like abandoned freaking like mental asylum that we're at, it's a pretty good spot for a CQB night vision course. We're going through reps and stuff, and then certain groups would go and everybody kind of go watch and stuff. But I saw like at one point, people were just putting their rifles down by a wall and just kind of like walking around, like in the dark, just chilling. And I was just like, mind you, there's law enforcement, there's civilians, there's vets and everything in this class, but I didn't say anything, but in my mind, I was like, why the fuck are you leaving your rifle there? Like, people are just so comfortable leaving their rifle around. And I guess maybe it's just in the Marine Corps, right? Like, they taught us, like, you do not fucking leave your rifle. Like, it goes with you everywhere you go. I guess you'd think about it, like, back in the old days, I'm sure a knight wouldn't leave his fucking sword just laying around somewhere, I don't know.
Always within one arm's reach.
Yeah, man, it's crazy. Or if it falls, you follow it. Like, that mentality is not the same way. Excuse me, sorry. So you join the Army, you go to a pretty decent unit. What you start doing in the Army, man? Like what?
So it's a learning curve for me. My only real infantry experience was ITB. I went straight to recon of small teams, and everybody wanted to be there. So it was a little bit more professional. Like, you could tell somebody, hey, go check your batteries, check your optics, and pack your shit, get ready to go. Well, now you've got 12 kids from, 18 to 23, varying levels of professionalism, and it's more of like a babysitting kind of thing. And then just your standard infantry tactics. Like, I can tell you how to respond to an ambush with a 6-man team that has machine guns and 203s and stuff like that. But when it's a 12-man team and they're not to the same training level as you, they're just basic Army infantrymen, it's a lot more of herding cats with fireworks.
Oh, shit.
So it opened my eyes at just how much I didn't know when it came to being just a regular infantryman.
Yeah.
Or stuff I may have forgotten from ITB or, what have you, because I was used to working in small teams.
I think it changes just depending on what you actually do too, right? Like what kind of units you're in and stuff like that. A lot of people think that every infantry guy is the same, or everything fluctuates depending on where you're at, So it's interesting that you point that out. So when you get there, you're in this culture shock, and then you eventually become a sniper, right? In the Army, is that?
Yeah, we It was a lot of fun when I first got there. We were part of an augmented unit program. So we made up a battalion of the 173rd.
Okay.
And their leadership would fly over and watch us do squad live fires and stuff like that. You know, you show up Wednesday night after you get off of work and you're immediately checking serial numbers for weapons, laying everything out for the next day. You know, there's one year it rained 28 hours straight while the battalion was doing a company live fire. And you just stood out in the rain because the range was far enough away you couldn't get anywhere. It's just one of those days like, this sucks, but it felt good to be back in the suck.
Yeah.
And kind of just punch a ticket on your man card, like, yeah, I still got it kind of thing.
Yeah.
And we would travel to Europe every year. You know, my first time in Romania and Poland was jumping out of an aircraft.
Yeah.
To fight Op 4. You know, it's high-speed laser tag, but it's still a lot of fun.
Yeah, still fun. Yeah, still kind of in that arena.
Yeah.
So you do the Army stuff and everything, and then at what point does the Army finally put you to where you're at, sort of right now?
So we do our year on the border, and as we're down there, I'm kind of looking for a new home because
I was the border.
Oh, dude, it was so much fun. It was at the time we were down there, it was the Wild West. Like, we had not necessarily arrest authority, but we could detain.
Yeah.
And there was nobody there to tell us no, and it was more of like you listen to the radio, you kind of memorize where certain areas are, so when you hear Border Patrol calling out people moving, like, you can respond. And it was a lot of, you know, being a squad leader, you have 4 vehicles of 3 kids each driving around and trying to get them to understand that just because a call happens on one side of the sector doesn't mean everybody can go to it. Like, you still have to maintain your respective area, and that's, well, we don't get any calls on that side, so rotating people through so everybody gets to have some fun. And then there's foot chases, fist fights. We didn't have body cameras.
Yeah.
So Border Patrol, when they needed help and couldn't really do what needed to be done, they could, you know, turn around and we could go in and drag people out of wherever they need to be drug out of.
Yeah. It's interesting you say that, because like not a lot of people understand really what happens at the border, even the people that advocate for like all this immigration to be happening and the craziness. But you know, having been in the border at one point in my life, like, I mean, I grew up in the border technically, so I understand it a lot, but being around that arena and seeing that, and also doing stuff with like human trafficking and everything, I think people don't understand is that when you allow this many people to come in through the southern border, undocumented, unvetted at many points, you're also opening up the door for things like human smuggling, human trafficking, like sex trafficking, and these kids are getting snatched up on the other side of the border.
Yeah.
And they're not even coming across with their respective families. They're coming across with somebody else, and then they now become, you know, a trafficked kid or anything. And I think people don't see that, man. They see like, oh, why, we're a country of immigration. Yeah, but let's also do this right, you know? Like, let's not do this the wrong way. And I think that's what sucks, man, because I won't go into too much detail about your current profession, but it's something that I feel like a lot of people are currently suffering in that profession because they have this negative image portrayed to them, you know, and like nobody's, like, people are losing respect for them when all they're doing is just trying to make sure these people are. I think what a lot of people don't understand is that, for example, an ICE agent right now, they're the masked, you know, Gestapo or whatever the hell they're calling them nowadays.
Yeah.
They're just grabbing people and snatching them. Those people are also out there picking up kids who are trafficked and stuff and trying to, you know, bring them back to safety.
Yeah.
And I get it. Some of these immigrants, they probably do deserve the chance to stay here, especially the ones that come here and want to work hard and everything.
Right.
But those evil ones, those monsters, especially the ones that are coming from the Middle East or any other country like that are actually here to cause harm to the American people or to anybody else in between, like, we have to do something about it. And you being on the border, you've got to experience what kind of people are crossing the border. It's not always your family with, you know.
No, you could see it in their eyes when you caught them. Like, some of them had, like, if they could get a shot on you, they would take it. If it meant they were getting through, I mean, you could just see it in their eyes.
Yeah.
Which was always kind of more fun to take those guys down.
Yeah. So you finish up your border stint and you eventually go to sniper. Is it a sniper course, or how does that work in the Army?
So it was a little bit different to me. I had to finish some time left with Bravo Company. I wanted to leave because my first sergeant was leaving, and I love my first sergeant to death. He was in charge of me when we were stuck on COVID orders, and me and him just became super close. He put my uniform together for my wedding. Like,
oh, nice.
Ribbons and every 15 pieces of flair that the Army wears. He put all that together for me.
So you got married in your Army like uniform?
Yeah, my pink and greens. We had to move our wedding date.
Sucks.
Because of the border. We moved it 3 times, and finally between my family and my wife's family, we shit out a wedding in 48 hours.
Oh, wow.
Got married in my grandma's backyard and never looked back.
Hey, fuck it, man.
Yeah.
It's not what matters. What matters is what comes after that, right? Yeah.
He was leaving, so I wanted to look for some new opportunities, and I tried Ranger School when I was on the border, and that was one of those things. I was trying to put a square peg in a round hole, and it didn't work out. I ended up getting an umbilical hernia.
Oh, shit.
And I was standing there shaving one night, saw it and pushed on it, and it went back inside me.
Oh.
So that didn't work out, and I wanted something else. I had fun being an infantryman, but I wanted a little bit more. So I started looking at the sniper section and figured out a way to get over there. It took me about a year to finally move over there, but once I did, it was another just steep learning curve. You know, I grew up hunting. You know, we're in the Marine Corps, you're shooting out to 500 yards. It's a decent shot, but never like really understanding the math that goes into being a sniper.
Correct.
And you know,
so much more
recon background. I get target detection. I get all that stuff. So I'm trying to piece everything together that I can before I go to school.
Yeah. You think that was like a really good, obviously it was valuable, but going to their sniper program and then, you know, having the recon background and everything, do you think that was like a really good, like, advancement in your life to a certain extent?
Yeah. I mean, because sniper was something I wanted out of the Marine Corps. Every time I got asked what schools I wanted, I would always say Scout Sniper, and to this day, I'm trying to figure out a way to go to the recon sniper course because I want a hawk's tooth.
Yeah.
Like, it's just iconic, cool, and that's the only way you can get one.
So if you could, would you switch back over to the Marine Corps?
No, not now. I'm done with the military. Once this contract's over with, I'm getting out. Just because where I'm going and what I've got going on, trying to pair that with the military and being a husband and a father, I think I'm gonna lax somewhere.
Yeah.
I'd rather not get to the point where
I'm glad you acknowledge that. Not a lot of people can. That's really good that you've acknowledged that, and I guess hopefully you've accepted it. But yeah, because some people like, I acknowledge it, but I haven't accepted it. So,
and my wife is excited because it's going to clear out a lot of storage space in the garage when I finally turn all my military stuff in.
Yeah, get all that SIF gear turned back in. So do you have so, you know, the current contract, is that with the task force that they ended up putting you on?
So that was like a separate thing. It's still weird. Like you're going from once a month, like weekend warrior, to back to active duty, but you're not reporting to a base or anything. You're reporting to that task force. So they own you every day and they loan you out on the weekends to your unit to do what you wanted or what your unit wants you to do, kind of thing.
Yeah.
That was a big learning experience too, was that whole task force mindset. Yeah. This is like really the first time where day to day I was working with people that have never been infantry.
Yeah. Yeah, and especially knowing a little bit about the kind of task force you're on, I think it's a culture shock.
But I learned a ton. My team leader was a super knowledgeable dude, and he's very much there to be a team leader for his people, to make sure that his service members had everything they needed to succeed.
Yeah.
Whether it be training or just like, getting people together once a month or once a quarter for a morale day. So everybody, because we're all in different offices, getting everybody together and, getting FaceTime and just relaxing, having a good time, have a drink and some lunch.
Yeah.
Talking about what's coming down the pipe. He's one of the better leaders I've encountered in the Army.
It's awesome, man. So next week, it's it, right? Like
Yeah.
it changes from here.
Yeah.
And we won't go into detail what you're doing next week, but that's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Proud of you.
I'm excited.
It's amazing. I'm sure your dad's super proud of you as well, man. So, obviously you got plenty of life to live still, and you're about to endure a different change. I guess it still is a change, yes, from what you did before, because now it's in a different arena. I feel like it's almost like your career has already started. It's remarkable looking at your resume, the training you've done. You've pretty much are a damn highly trained individual that's gotten a shitload of training for many years. And now you're kind of going into another arena where you're going to get new training, but also that other training comes in and plays a big factor. And I feel like your career is about to really start, man, and you're about to start doing some good stuff. And my hat's off to you for that. And I hope it works out for you and you do really good in your career and you advance. You do really good things with those guys over there. But given the circumstances of what you've experienced now in your life, for somebody like the young man that we have cutting up the podcast right now as we're recording, who's currently talking about maybe joining the military, or somebody that's out there, what kind of advice would you give them, getting into this world?
Kind of the advice I've been giving out for the last 8 years in the Army, or 7 years, whatever it is. I have a lot of young kids that want to go special forces and stuff like that, and it's always my good friend Jared Decker kind of made this comparison for me one day, and it was the only thing that separates humans from animals is being able to project our conscience into the future. We can look at where we want to be when we're old and gray, married, wrapped around porch on a hill, sipping iced tea, watching the sunset. Whenever the kids would come up and ask, like, should I go special forces or not? I'm like, when you're thinking about sitting there with your wife and your grandkids and your kids and all that, are you going to regret not trying? Are you going to regret not taking that step, though it may be scary? You may fail. As long as you fail and you learn something from it, it's still a beneficial step.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I tell people. And if being in the combat arms MOSs, it kind of restricts you to what you can do when you get out. So like I'm working with a kid in California. He's going to college right now, but he wants to be a recon Marine. So I'm helping him train and stuff like that. And I've told him, like, do your time, have your fun, travel the world, get to schools, go to sniper school, jump, dive, free fall, the whole nine. But when you're thinking about getting out, join the reserves and changing MOS to a job that you think you can do for 20 years, aircraft mechanic, intelligence, whatever, and get the military to pay for your training in that arena. So when you do make it into the civilian market, you're not focused on trying to catch up with everybody else. You already have experience. It's already been paid for. Military training is extremely good.
Yeah. No, I think it's good you say that, because I was actually just telling him that right before you even showed up. Just make it worth it.
Yeah.
If you're going to use it as a stepping stone, make sure that stepping stone was worth it. Excuse me, that echelon, man, it gets me going. Yeah, man, that's real awesome, man. Again, I'm really thankful that you came onto the podcast. I really wanted to hear your story and just kind of see a little bit of your father's legacy and on what he created, man, because he created you, and it's cool to see what you have become, right? And I appreciate it, and especially the day before the Marine Corps birthday, Semper Fi, man.
Yeah,
it's awesome. I think, I know you were in the Army now, but I'm sure that Marine's still there, man. I don't care what anybody says. It never goes away.
Everyone, because at one point in time, there were 6 recon Marines in my unit.
Yeah.
And we had we joked and said we were just the Marine Corps detachment here to overtake the National Guard.
Yeah. It's funny because I was literally in the process at one point to just go to Guard and just kind of die out there. And then I advanced in my civilian career and everything, and I asked myself, do I really see myself going and fucking doing this shit every weekend or every month, once a weekend, whatever it is? And I was like, nah, man, I gotta focus on myself, my family and stuff. But yeah, man, it's you'll never take the Marine out of us, that's for sure. So Semper Fi, brother. I appreciate you coming out, and good luck on your future journey, man. I think it's gonna be great, man.
Appreciate that.
Thanks for coming on, man.
Yeah, dude. Thank you.
Yep.